Kate, who are you?
It's a good question because I'm, many things to different people. I'm a business owner, so I'm a boss to some. I'm a husband, soon to be father.
Nice.
I'm a son. I'm a brother. I have, I guess, a friend, to people. I have many roles, which I think most of us do. Yeah, I guess if people were talking to me, they depending on which friends you're talking to or the people you're talking to, you might get a slightly different answer. Some people would say he's the guy that doesn't sleep and just has a bunch of businesses, where another might say I'm the nerdy friend that's been a part of their life that enjoys video games and stuff. So, you might get a bunch of different answers from different people, but
Yeah, so let's talk about your 40 plus companies across SaaS, is it?
Mhm.
Are they all across SaaS?
Nope, it's all different companies. So some SaaS, we have a marketing agency, we have some e-com stores, we have brick and mortar. So, for example, a pest control company, a moving company, garage door repair and installation. Just started up or just partnered up with like a tech company that does like internet firmware, different things like that, computer repair, phone repair, different things like that. So it's a broad spectrum across many different industries
Oh,
that I have ownership in. So yeah.
when people hear that, they may wonder, how do you manage so many moving parts without burning out?
Yeah. Systems, people, processes. That's been one of the big things that I've had to learn. Being being willing to let go, trusting your team,
Mhm.
that's a big thing.
Yeah.
Um, the skill of delegation was a very hard skill for me to learn, especially early on, and I'd
Oh,
say
yeah.
I'm still working on that, but that's really all it is. It's you improve your systems, you get better processes, and you have good people to help run your company. So,
100%. And I think many entrepreneurs out there have that challenge
yeah.
with letting go or delegating. Oh, I will never find
Mhm.
somebody who does it like I would do
Yep.
it. And
Yep.
that's the point. You will not
Exactly.
find somebody who cares as much as you do. Would you agree with that? And would
Yeah, I
you?
mean,
Mhm.
they'll definitely may never care as much as you do. Depending, right? If you might find some people who are very passionate about what they do in your company, or maybe the certain thing. Like we have some people that are very good in the creative space of video editing for like our agency, and they love it. They're very good at it. They're very passionate about it, and they probably care about it more than I do because that's just not the way my brain works. I'm not a creative in that way. I'm very much creative in systems and in automations and in tech and processes. That's where I really shine. But the beautiful thing though is they don't have to do it as good as you. They just have to do it about 80% as good as you would.
Yeah.
And it's really all you need.
But I think 80% is already aimed really high. Like if you can get those 80%, you should feel very lucky. Like 80%
Depends
is
on where you set your standard, you know.
right. But I guess
Um,
to be able to
but
become really good at delegating, you just have to swallow it. You just have to make friends with
yeah,
it, to just accept it. Like,
yep.
what made you, like, how did you learn that skill? And you said you're still struggling a little bit with it. Like, what made you go, okay, let's just accept it that way. Let's
Uh, it it, j-
go with
it
it.
depends on. For me, I like to say I'm ambitiously lazy. Um,
Okay, that it doesn't sound like that running 40 plus companies.
it doesn't sound like that, but I guess just something that I I'm never afraid of hard work, and it's just the way I raised with my background. But um, I will always try to find the easiest way to do something, the most efficient, the easiest, and that's probably really where that kind of came into play. Is like, okay, I figured out how to make this really easy. Can someone else just do it? Like it's so easy to where you don't even have to think about it. It's not hard to do. And so that's probably really for me like where that started to come into play is that I just got really good for myself at building a system around things and automating as much as I could with, technology or
Yeah.
systems, um, platforms like N8N or Zapier or whatever. Now HighLevel, HighLevel we've been using for a long time, but um, it started there, and then I realized eventually it got to a point where there's still certain things that you need human touch for, and there's still
Mhm.
certain things that a human has to do. And so you just kind of take that same thought behind it is like, okay, the same way that I would train and build out a system and a process for an automation to run, you do the same thing with a system and process that a person can run. And, figuring out how to do that is what really helped me to kind of let go, because I'm like, all right, I've written all this down. I know step by step everything that needs to take place. All they got to do is just go through one step, one step, one step. And, people are going to mess up. There's always human error, but I know that as long as I have that in place, they're going to be able to do just about as good a job as I can.
Right. And SOPs here are the key, right? Like you
Yep.
gotta provide instructions. And if there's an error, you gotta go back and look at yourself or your instructions. Where did I mess up first? Did I provide the right instructions?
Yep.
If not, you've got it. And if you have, then how many times would you allow errors then before you say, all right, you know what? I think we need to find somebody else.
Yeah, usually we always look at first, like if someone does make a mistake, we're always looking at, okay, was it an honest mistake, or was there an error in the like did we miss something in the instructions, or was it just oversight? Okay, so we look at that first. Was it our fault truly, or was it truly their fault and just an oversight? So usually we'll give people usually around 3 or 4 opportunities, like if you're just literally not doing the job, then we either need to find a different place for you, because maybe that's just whatever that position is, maybe that's just not something that's in their skill set, and they might be better at something else. So
Mm.
we always try to maybe find, like, if they're messing up here in this position, we always try to see, well, maybe they're a better fit somewhere else. But if not, then we just got to replace someone on the team. And the way we look at it is we look at it more as a team aspect of, we are building a team that wants to win, that wants to excel, that wants to grow, and people that want to be a part of a winning team. And so it's never like a malicious thing of like, oh man, you're just not good at, your job or anything. We have to take the time sometimes to train people up to be good, but
Sure.
you also have to look at does it make sense to do that, or does it just make sense to put them somewhere else? And if they're still not getting it, then all right, they're probably just not a good fit for the team.
Right. So let's talk about your GoHighLevel SaaS companies. You have a few different
Mhm.
SaaS accounts going, and let's talk about specifically what kind of tasks you've delegated within those SaaS companies. What are these niches? Let's
Yeah.
start off with that.
So we've had high level probably since like almost 6 months after they launched. So we've been
Wow.
we've been using it for a long time, right?
Yeah.
All the way back to campaign before SaaS mode was a thing and all that.
Wow.
And we were actually selling it as a SaaS before that was even a
Look at you.
thing. So basically, when we originally started, we were we were doing advertising and marketing for the pest control industry, and we were using high level for our own pest control company at the time. And so what we did is we packaged it together where you're going to get our automated systems and everything that we built with inside of our high level account. And so we made it where it was a package deal. They were paying for the software and they were paying for our services. And then if they wanted to cancel service, they would keep the software if they wanted to, because we always tried to make sure that we integrated it with a bunch of different parts of their business, like reviews. And so that way it stuck if they didn't want to continue marketing, because in that industry, most guys and most companies will market through the summertime and then shut it off during wintertime, just because they slow down.
Yep.
And so it started off in that industry, pest control, and it was really just automating reviews, automating like lead nurture, different things like that. And obviously, as high level continued to expand the capabilities, then the things we were able to do has gotten more advanced. And then being able to tie it in with platforms like Zapier and Make and now N8N and all the cool things. We're actually transitioning all the way over to N8N now, just because of all the cool things you can do tying it in there. So yeah, so
Amazing.
lots of different stuff.
So you've seen the baby grow.
Yep, yep.
Very cool.
We've
Very cool.
we've been there for a long time. So
Amazing. So that's pest control. What are the other ones?
man, we've done so many. So pest control, real estate, wholesale investors, obviously the moving industry, e-com. A lot of times what we end up doing is we end up partnering or getting equity or buying or starting a new company within a certain industry. And we always use high level for that company to manage it.
Mm.
And so then we find a lot of like the downfalls and pitfalls and gaps that need to be made up. And so then what we do is then we build that into high level, and then we end up typically go reselling it to that industry. Because like, oh, well, we're experiencing it, so everyone else must be. Well, we built the solution, so now we can go offer it. So we have a lot of different industries we've served, but we have multiple different SaaS accounts that we just started. We're like, you know what, we've been doing this, so why don't we just go win a bunch of awards with a bunch of different industries? So we got a new one that we just started a few months back in the rental industry for like equipment rentals and stuff. That one's already over 40 customers. We have another one we just launched maybe about 30 days ago in the beauty industry. One of the next ones we're going to go into is photography. So yeah, we're just going to open up a bunch of different SaaS accounts and go grow them.
Interesting. So let's pick this apart a little bit for the listener to get an overview of how you manage all this, because you're launching like one SaaS after the other, and then before you know it, the next one. So who is we? When you say we, who is we, and how many people are behind the scenes doing all that?
Well, yeah. So obviously today, I have a business partner. He's actually been a mentor of mine for a long time, and that's kind of how our relation started. Is I met him at a mastermind, an event that I'd paid to be a part of, or a group I'd paid to be a part of. He was in the group, but I didn't know he was behind the scenes running a lot of it until we met in person, found out what he does, and I ended up partnering with him on, at that time, the pest control company and the marketing agency, and learned from him. And he was doing what we do now, what he's taught me how to do, which is we go open companies and buy companies or start companies. And so when we originally started, of course, the team was very small, me and a handful of people. And it's obviously much larger today with the amount of companies that we run. But me and him, we really just go, that's kind of just what we do now. We've obviously transitioned. It started out in one company and then another company and then another, and you learn the ins and outs and the processes. And a lot of business is the same. The only thing that changes is the knowledge that you need around the industry. So we look for people who are subject matter experts
Mhm.
that we can partner with or hire to come in and run more front end stuff for us. And so that person tends to know a lot about the industry while we know a lot about business and systems and processes. And then we're able to learn from each other. And then we utilize our team to then go grow and scale the company. So,
Nice. So you've currently over 400 sub accounts across all of those SaaS businesses. Is that correct?
yeah. So the first one, actually, that one, I think at its peak, we had like 300 some when we,
Which one was that? The pest
that
control?
was the very first one. Yeah. I think we had, I want to say at the peak of it, it was around 300, 350, something like that. And then,
Very cool. So let's dig in there real quick. Like most listeners are dreaming of even hitting 100 accounts, right? So when you were at 350, how did you feel about that milestone? Was that some sort of relief, excitement, or was it just like, oh, just another company? How did you feel about that?
um, well, that one was obviously that was one of our first ones. So, it was cool. Like we were, the thing for us is like it was also packaged with our marketing side of things. So it's just kind of like we
Right.
were on a roll. It was like one after the other, after the other, after the other. I think the thing that I liked most about it was that it the the churn rate was so much lower than marketing. Customers were sticking on for 12 months plus,
Yeah.
where marketing was very seasonal for that industry. So we had people return year after year, but I think that was the part that I really liked the most about it, is that like that number was growing. So that number in terms of just MRR and recurring revenue was a lot more stable, which I liked.
Right. So I think that's a very important point to showcase here, that once you have, many of you may have a service out there already, but once you add SaaS to the mix, people will, if they cancel the services, like in a seasonal industry like the pest control, and they use your SaaS, they come back to you because they have you in mind already. Like you're on top
Mhm.
of their mind when they need the service again. Obviously, provided you've done a good job,
Yep.
delivering the service. And Nice MRR here as well.
Yep.
So how did you get your first, let's say, let's start at the bottom, 3 to 5 clients starting this first pest control business with SaaS?
It's probably going to sound weird, but it was really easy for us because we owned a pest control company
Yeah.
and we had just opened it probably like 4 or 5 months before COVID hit.
Mm.
And the thing is that while everyone else had stopped marketing and stopped doing stuff, we were pushing our marketing. And that was one thing that we had gotten really good at because before we opened the pest control company, we were actually selling it door to door. And so we went and learned online marketing so we didn't have to knock door to door.
Sure.
And so what we were doing essentially at that time was kind of unheard of in the industry. No one had really figured out how to
Nice.
make Facebook ads and social media ads work for the industry. And we were selling 100 plus accounts a month. So, when you're in the industry and you actually own a company there and you're telling people like, oh, no, I mean, this is what we're doing. It's working great. People start asking you questions. And so it was really kind of easy for us to get our first SaaS clients because we were already using HighLevel and we started having friends and stuff in the industry asking us how we're doing it. So then we started having people pay us to train them. And then it led to, well, can you just do it for us? So then it led to us starting a marketing company because people didn't want to do it even after we taught them. I mean, I think we held a group class like in one of our trainings and we showed people how to use HighLevel. And at the time, SaaS was not a thing. So we're like, look, it's
Right.
$97 a month, but since you're a student, if you want to pay us for it, we'll give it to you for 67. And so we had, of course, everyone in the groups like, yeah, we'll just pay you for it. So, I mean, we had our first 10 clients pretty quick, but yeah,
Awesome.
so
So
that's kind of
that's,
how that started.
yeah. And what kind of feature did you offer to them? Was there a specific feature you said, okay, we build a free website for you, or
Well,
we gonna run reviews? What was it? Like just not like
it
an
was
all in
just
one?
it was just automation to manage your leads.
Okay.
So we were teaching them how to do Facebook ads, and
Okay.
a lot of those guys were either on the truck or most people in service-based businesses are just really bad at follow-up
Right.
anyways.
Right. Yeah.
And so yeah, we built out, our little automation that nurtured Facebook leads and stuff, and we provided that to them as well as a review system. And back then, the review system was a little bit different too,
Sure.
where back before all the review gatekeeping and stuff became frowned upon, but so like we had a snapshot that was like a landing page, and if they clicked this, it wouldn't send them to the review, and if they clicked this many stars, then it would send them. And so like, yeah, it was a good time back in that day, but that was
Nice.
it. Reviews and lead nurture. That was pretty much it.
Okay, so just to clarify, like your main income source was then obviously the service and then also the teaching of, hey, here's how to run Facebook ads. So was it
Yep.
like a one-off class? Was it like a 8 weeks course, consulting? What exactly was that around Facebook ads and how much did you charge for that?
Yeah, it was so when we first started it, if you wanted it private one-on-one, it was 3,000. And if you joined the group class, it was 997. It was
Wow.
eight 1-hour sessions.
Ah, nice.
And we went through everything from how to set up your Facebook business manager, the type of offers, how to research your market, how to sell because most of these guys were terrible at sales, even though they thought they were good. So we taught them sales. We taught them how to use HighLevel, how to build out their own automations if they wanted to build out their own stuff. So we taught them a whole variety of different things, but ultimately our thing was like, look, you're gonna have your ads up and running by the third class, and before all 8 sessions are done, you should have your first sales. So, and that pretty much happened with just about everyone. So, very few people did not have their first sales within the first 8 classes. So, most of the time, it was just the people that didn't have as much money for their ad spend is typically the ones that were a little bit slower. But yeah,
I was just about to ask that. What's the difference between those who made it and those who didn't? So the ad spend, you would say.
it was slower for those that didn't have as much money to put into ad spend. But then also some markets were just harder. The demographic and where they were located were just it's that plays a big role, especially with a service-based business.
Right.
So
So but you built this pest control business from scratch yourself, or you also acquired that before you went into SaaS anyway?
No, we built that ourselves. So
Hmm.
from start, so
Awesome.
0 to, I think within about 4 months, we had 350 pest control clients, which again was kind of unheard of for unless you were a large company that had a door knocking team at the time that was
Right.
going door to door selling. So it's kind of unheard of to have that just running online marketing. So
Amazing. If you'd be looking back, what was any of the lowest points in your journey there, like from an entrepreneur's perspective, and how did you push through that?
one of the things I guess for me is just that I was taught to never quit. Stuff happens, life happens. It, all you can do is just get back up and keep going. So, I mean, I'd probably say I had some of my worst downfalls or things that felt worse later on. Like, we had built $1 million companies, and to see them crumble overnight, those have been some of the craziest things I've ever seen in terms of business. Going from $1 million plus year company to overnight almost nothing. I've had that happen, and that's crazy. But I mean, when we started the pest control company, I really wasn't in any type of special place by that means. I was no, I was accustomed to taking risk. I was young. Well, I mean, I'm still young. I'm only 32,
Mhm.
but um, I was 24, 23, 24, and I was cool with sleeping on a couch in the shop. It didn't bother me.
Yeah.
So I post, me and my partner, we posted up on a couch in the in the warehouse in the shop where we had all of our trucks and equipment, and we lived there for about 14 months growing the business. So
Nice. It's like a very typical Jeff Bezos scene comes to
yeah,
mind.
yeah, yeah.
But so
Just
tell us more about that downfall there, like from 1 million to zero. What happened in that night?
uh, I would say one thing I have learned is that you don't sometimes know what your partners are going to do when they go through tough situations.
Oh,
I have lost. I have had more failed partnerships and failed companies than I do have that are still running. You really find out who people are and what they have and
mm.
what they can handle when stuff gets hard
Yeah.
or when things don't go
Wow. What happened?
maybe
Give
the
us the
way.
juice. Give us the juice. What happened? You don't have to name
No.
names, obviously. Just like so, like it's part of business as well. I agree. Like
Yeah.
partnerships are
I mean,
tough, man. If you're ready to start your very own SaaS journey with High Level, I've got you covered. Use my link in the show notes below to grab a free trial or to upgrade your existing subscription and benefit from the bonuses I've put together specifically for you. Don't wait, this is the same platform powering the stories you have just heard.
I've had a lot of different scenarios happen. Like had people get hurt and then they start, they just for whatever reason start struggling. I've had people that I don't even know how to say it, but unbeknownst to us, like had mental health issues that we didn't know about.
Mhm.
That later down the road, they go into a deep depression, and all of a sudden they're checking into a mental hospital, and they're gone for months, and we don't know where they went. I've had business partners pass away, all sorts of different crazy stuff. I've had businesses that just overnight, because of a law change or a payment processing issue, just crumble.
Right.
Like there was one company that Stripe shut us down. Just
Oh,
no,
classic.
no notice, no anything. We appealed it. They brought it back, and then 2 weeks later they decided to shut it down again, and it was final. And for whatever reason, that whole process of that happening, that caused that business to take a pretty big hit. Just people's payments failing. We couldn't get our customer payment data out of Stripe and
Oh
trying to get a hold
man.
of everyone to get their stuff back up and going. That was so. Yeah, I've been through a lot of different scenarios and a lot of different things, but the one thing is like I love having business partners because especially if you all bring your own set of skills to the table
Oh, yeah.
because it allows you to go farther, in my opinion. I know there's a lot of people that don't like partnerships, and that's okay. I personally love them, especially when you have the right partners, but you also, when stuff gets hard, you find out the people who stick around and will push through too. So
Like a relationship, right?
it is. It's like
Yeah.
a marriage.
Yeah.
It really is.
My God, you've been married many times.
That I have. Yep.
So when it came to the problems with the people specifically, less so with Stripe and the SaaS and stuff, would you say it is because the person just disappeared and there was nobody to replace their tasks, or did they take some money and run away with it? Or
I've had
both?
I've had both
Yeah.
happen. I've had people just disappear. I've had people just say, "Hey, I'm done. I'm leaving." I've had people clear out the bank account and disappear off the face of the earth. So I've
Damn.
been through it all.
Very interesting. But that's fixable, no? You just call the police and they will find them. Is that not how it works?
Uh,
People steal money?
depends. Depends on if they're still in America by the time
Oh my
that
days.
happens. It just depends. Uh,
Maybe they run away to Dubai.
they could have. They could have. Or Costa Rica or Mexico. I don't know. They
Okay.
never again. So yeah.
Crazy. Okay. So I think the one thing that's most relatable to the listener here is probably the Stripe issue, right? So they reinstated your account once. Great. Yay. 2 weeks later, damn, same problem. What are you going to do?
Yep. You transfer to a different merchant processor other than Stripe.
Yeah.
Yep. And honestly, in that scenario, I mean, it was a blessing in disguise because it forced us to always have a backup now. And we had to learn a lot about like Stripe regulations, not that necessarily the regulations, but like how to get data out, how to save data prior to, but then also just always have a backup Stripe account or a backup merchant processor through a different company.
Yeah.
And every, you know, depending, maybe on your level and the amount of customer data and stuff that you have coming in and out every month, basically what you do is every 30 to 90 days, you're taking the data that's in your active Stripe or active payment processor, and you're moving it over to your backup. So you always have your customers, not only your customers, but their payment methods
Cool.
available too. So if one were to go down, you can easily transfer over
Yeah.
to the other and keep running. So,
I've done that once because just simply change of company stuff. And oh my days, that is a lot of manual work.
mm-hmm,
That is a
that it
lot
is.
of manual work, especially if you have so many new sub accounts all the time. You
Mm-hmm.
just have to, I don't know, have a dedicated person every. I mean, you have so many people on. How many people do you have on your team now?
I mean, across all my companies, we employ hundreds of people. So at this point, I really only communicate with a few people. I have basically my one guy that I meet with every morning who runs pretty much everything, and then I meet with business partners. So I don't have a exact number, but I'm not really necessarily meeting with a bunch of people anymore.
Right,
Um, just a handful now.
right. So, what's the annual revenue here? I'm guessing everyone is asking that question in their mind right now.
Got some companies doing seven figures, other companies in the mid six figures.
Specifically the SaaS ones. Let's focus on those.
Yeah, so the largest GHL SaaS that we ever had, that one, that was our first one. I think we grew that to I think that was doing around like 350 a year, something like that. But I've had other software companies outside of GHL that have been $1 million businesses, $1 million
Awesome.
SaaS companies. So
So the 350 a year with GHL specifically, is that just a subscription or was that combined with additional services?
no, that was just the subscription
Nice.
side of it. Yeah.
Nice.
You toss in the actual marketing services, and that was much more high, a lot higher. That was six figures a month.
Nice. Oh, amazing. So actually, that was so much more. Yeah,
Yeah.
all together. So good.
Yep.
Congratulations.
Yeah. Well, thank you.
Yeah. So let's talk systems automations a little bit. You're very good at that. And obviously, that's how you you go buy companies and then you implement systems automations to make it better, more efficient, maybe even get rid of some people, maybe to reduce costs. Let's talk
Yeah.
about that. Like, what is the most common automation you build into the businesses you buy, and yeah, can save tons of time and money?
Um, One of the biggest things, of course, is lead management and lead nurture follow-up systems. A lot of businesses don't have those things in place.
Yeah.
And you're, I mean, the sales is the lifeblood of the business. And I know people say the riches are in the niches, but to quote my mentor, the riches may be in the niches, but the fortune's in the follow-up.
Yes.
And the follow-up is really where you capitalize on the majority of your leads. And so a lot of businesses just don't have a good lead follow-up, lead nurture, and most people aren't asking for reviews like they should. So little things like that, especially for a local business. Now, of course, that can be very different from a software company or a marketing agency or an e-com store, right? But specifically local business, just because that, from what I've seen in the GHL group, seems to be what most people go after is some form of local, small local business, which is totally fine. There's millions of them out there, and that's where a majority of your customers will most likely come from, especially if you're looking to resell GHL. You can go so much farther than just lead nurture, lead follow up, especially with AI now, being able to automate support and different types of communication, inbound phone calls. So there's a lot of things just within the last year
Yeah.
now, different positions where you're starting to be able to process and automate more positions and more people out because of AI. So there's still definitely certain things where a human touch is needed, certain customer support situations
Yeah.
for sure. And depending on what you're selling, sales, absolutely. I know a lot of people say they use AI to sell, and you definitely can on certain things, but there are definitely other things where having a human interaction is still needed, and especially for the overall experience that maybe you're trying to provide. Because that's one of the things that we're big on too, is that yes, once we get the customer in the door, now we want to keep them in the door. And the way you do that and prevent more churn is by having a really solid system that provides a seamless, smooth, positive customer experience from the moment they get in to the moment they're going through it. And so there's a lot of different aspects of the onboarding process that we build in little automations and different things. For example, someone signs up and pays for the service. They're getting an email, a welcome email with videos and instructions, and they're things that we need from them and things that we're going to be doing, setting expectations, letting them know here's the process, next, here's what you're going to go through, and really just outlining the whole thing for them. And then having a really easy way for them to communicate with you when they do need something. So yeah, there's so many different things that can be systemized now, especially with AI. And you know, I've heard some people say that there will be billion-dollar companies with one employee. I don't
I
know if we'll
saw
see that
these
in our
posts
lifetime, but maybe
and I
that
think,
would be
okay.
awesome. Yeah, but yeah, I definitely think there's going to be a lot more positions filled with automation than there used to be.
Yeah. So would you say for people who are just starting out in the GHL sphere and they don't have money now to acquire like an existing company, would you say
Mhm.
like starting locally would be the easiest thing for them to do?
Yeah, it's the easiest thing to do if you don't have money. There's only two ways to grow a business. It's either your time or you're putting money into it. There's literally only two ways to do it. And if you don't have money to put into it, well, then you're going to put your time into it. And some people may say, well, I don't have time because I work a job. And well,
Right.
then you have to find the time. You have to prioritize the time. And that means you're going to sacrifice time with family if that's your thing. You're going to sacrifice time with friends. But if you're just starting out and you want to get clients quick, focus on something that you already have knowledge around, because it's way easier to speak the language of the people in that industry. So, for example, if your hobby or something you enjoy doing, or maybe you work in the industry of photography, or maybe you work at a car dealership, or maybe you like you could literally just even talk about like take the job you work at, you know the industry, you've been there for a bit, and see if there's a way or a gap somewhere that you could fill for other businesses in that industry because you understand their language, and then just start there. Start by providing them, with a website or with a review automation, or could even just be a customer reactivation campaign, and just go find some people that would be willing to let you do it for free as it for a testimonial. Like even the place you're working at, like there there's so many options just to go get your first customer in the door, and just start there and start talking to people. And then one of the things that I really like doing, and I mean, it makes us a lot of money, go into Facebook groups that are specifically for the industry that you serve. Go find posts and questions that people are asking, and leave comments sharing value, link back. If you see a bunch of people asking questions about something, go make a YouTube video answering that question and how you solve it with your GHL SaaS, and say, hey, yeah, this is what here's a video that actually answers that question. You say, boom, here's a video that might help answer that. Hope this helps. And then in the video, you have a link in the description, right? So like you just have a funnel of how you're going to do it, but you go into the groups and you provide a lot of value and just share knowledge and information and resources, all things that you can put together and funnel them back through to your business. And if someone's like, oh yeah, I'm looking for this, I'm not sure about this, I'll just go in and I'll say, hey, yeah, there's some really great companies that do that. I actually also own a company that does that. Would be happy to talk to you if you want to check it out. But here's some other great options too. And I've always just done it very non-salesy, but more about sharing value. And that has been a really great way to grow the business when you're not putting money behind it. Like even with the one that we started about 3 months ago in rentals, we've done no ads. It has been 100% Facebook groups.
So that's the trailer rental, or what
Mm-hmm.
kind of rentals?
Yep.
So what
Yep.
kind of Facebook groups would you go in that industry? I would have no idea.
Just find other groups that are around trailer rentals, dumpster rentals. I mean, the beautiful thing about it is you could actually do like party rentals in general. So like you could technically incorporate it to party rentals too, but we were just like, all right, let's just show people that this can be done. And so we started with trailer rentals. It's literally just been be in Facebook groups, share value, share helpful tips. And a lot of times what we do is we'll either link it back to like a YouTube video maybe we made, or a free resource that we share and give away. And then that links them back to the company. So,
Amazing. Very cool. So you're saying like start with the lowest hanging fruits, focus on the skill you already have, even if you're in a 9 to 5 job, take
yep.
that, maybe even pitch to your boss. Not sure how
Yeah,
much you would like that, maybe,
absolutely.
you're doing something on the side, but make sure that is in your contract, you're allowed to do that.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, just start there. And also, one thing, what you said, I agree so much with just the human connection. Yes, we have all these amazing AI tools and stuff, but for the initial sale, just yesterday, I walked into a restaurant and I did run a review thing for them for free for 4 weeks to
Mm-hmm.
just get the foot in the door, to just get some great testimonials. So I have two SaaS. I focus one on consulting coaches, course creators, which is up and running since
Yep.
many, many years. And the second one I'm experimenting around with is the review.
Yep.
And just exactly like you said, I didn't even intend to pitch. I didn't even expect. The results were good. And I just delivered the numbers, the reports. Here's what happened before, after, blah, blah, blah. We
Mm-hmm.
managed to kick them. We managed to rank them on the number one spot and their main competitor of Google Maps. And that made them so happy because there was also a bit of an emotional thing going on between them. And yeah, we would love to stay. Boom, deal done.
There you go.
Even though, guys, listen, while I have you here, make sure to hit that subscribe button, leave me a like, because most of you are constantly watching, but you're not subscribed. It will help out this channel tremendously if you would just hit the subscribe and like button and even leave a comment below. Thank you. Like, even though they were already using different systems, which HighLevel can do, but the key for to close this particular client was I went into the door with one particular feature sold, which was the review. Right? I
Yep.
don't go in and I say, here is an all-in-one CRM, which can literally do everything.
Right.
So
Yeah.
I removed all the sides, the things on the sidebar, and just had like the few buttons which they needed to see
Yep.
stuff for the review, and that was it.
Yep.
So local is good. Face to
Yeah.
face is good. Like I wanted you because I've showed up face to face. They already
Yep.
were using something else from a huge company. Nobody ever in person spoke to them, of course. They're too big already.
Right.
That's where you can win,
Yep.
right? And you don't need a million sub accounts to start off with, just aim for the first 100. Like, how
Yep.
amazing is that? Like, even the
Yep.
first 10 already. Great.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
MRR is
You don't have
amazing.
to overcomplicate it. It
Yeah.
and I see that a lot in the high level group is a lot of people are and it can be overwhelming because they do high level has so much to offer, but that's the beautiful thing about it is you can just pick something simple. And that's why I like to tell people like, look, if you're not sure where to start with the industry that you already know.
Hmm.
Start with an industry that you already understand some of the problems and things they struggle with, and how can you use high level to go help that, and just focus on that one thing. You don't need to try and upsell all the different. Just focus on one thing, and you can go make a lot of money with it, or at least enough money to get you maybe out of your full time job and being able to focus on that full time, and then you can learn more skills along the way. Like, yeah, there's so many options. Or if you really want to go be like a power user or whatever, or I'm not a power user, but just like really get a lot of skills, go find a top operating company and try and get hired there, work for them for 6 to 12 months, learning everything you can about that business, and then take those skills back to your own. So,
100%. That's how you gain the knowledge the fastest. Like being
hmm,
actually in that industry working for them. Really good tip.
exactly.
Across all your SaaS niches, what's the common dominator that makes one take off while others plateau?
Yeah, I would say probably more than anything is just
Yeah.
exposure, and then making sure that you're just at least solving a problem that the industry needs, right? The more people that have the problem in that industry,
Right.
the more people you're going to be able to bring through the door, right? Your what is it? Like your TAM, total adjustable market or something like that. I forget the technical term, but the more people you can help in that market solve that problem that have that problem, there you go.
Right.
And then just making sure people know about it. That's people don't know you exist. And I mean, a great point. I know a lot of people have been going crazy about the Hormozy book launch that just happened, but I think I saw someone highlight it in a post somewhere, and I was like, yeah, honestly, that's probably the most valuable thing. And it was before the book launch even happened. It was a video of Hormozy and his team was out filming their ads, and a guy walked by and said, "Hey, I love your content." And he's like, "Oh, hey, awesome, man. You coming to the book launch?" He's like, "Your book launch?" He's like, "Yeah, it's this weekend or whatever." And he says like, and that's why we advertise, because people don't know you exist. And I mean, you think about that, like Hormozy's huge. He
Oh,
has a
yeah.
massive following. He runs millions of dollars in ads, tens of millions of dollars in ads, and people still didn't know. So
Right.
like, if you think about yourself, people definitely don't know you.
Yeah.
And so exposure is a big thing. You just got to get in front of more people, let more people know that you exist.
Right. And go out and collect the no's. It's part of the game. Like, not
Yep.
everyone you will pitch to, you have to pitch, pitch, pitch every day. You have to find businesses where you can reach out to, send emails, SMS, WhatsApp, knock on the door, do all the things, right? Like, as many people as you can reach out to daily, that will just increase your conversion rate. And it's just absolutely normal that people firstly not interested. Then you gotta
Right.
work on your pitch, on your hook. What is it? Did
Yep.
you actually do the research on the business, what they need? Maybe
Yep.
not. Go back and refine your pitch, your offer, and
Yep.
be prepared to take the no's. It's just part
Yeah.
of the game. Rejection is where it's at. Like always tell my students, go out and collect as many no's as possible. It's
Yep.
like that's the only way how you can get there.
Yep. That's it. You know, and you learn the most too when you look back, like, well, okay, why did they say no? And you just look back and you're like, okay, well, was it the way I said something? Or maybe did I just not actually take the time to understand what they need? And that's, for me, that's one of the things that I really love about like going and joining Facebook groups in the industry that you're wanting to serve, is because people are asking questions all the time in those groups. And so you really start to get a feel for like, Well, what does that industry need? I see a lot of people ask this question, and so they're like, well, if a lot of people are asking this question, then maybe even though there might be other options available, like this is a great example. One of the industries that I want to go into next is photography.
Mhm.
And so I'm part of a few photography groups, and we just got done building a software called Group Scout. We've been using it internally for the last 4 months, and we're finally releasing it so others can use it. But it links to all the groups you're in, and then it will scrape through all the Facebook groups, searching for a keyword on all the posts, and then put them into the system. So that way you don't have to go into the group and like search manually.
Yeah.
So it saves you a lot of time. The Facebook groups, just go look in the Facebook groups and see what people are asking. Like if you want to go into like an industry, like we want to go into photography next, I see a ton of people asking about what website operation. Like a lot of people use a system called Pixiest in that industry. I think there was another one that's really big. And it's like, okay, yeah, those are really big options, but how can we take GHL and provide the same thing, add more value to it, and go resell it to that industry now? So
Right.
you find that just by even being a part of the groups. So
Right.
Facebook groups are very valuable. You can learn a lot.
Amazing. Yeah, go stalk your competitors and make your offer better.
Hmm.
So once you made that offer better, how do you then go out and pitch to somebody who is already using something else? Because let's face it, people are lazy. They don't want to change the SaaS.
Hmm.
How are you approaching that conversation? You go in and you say, got something better. Want to swap over? Like, how do you do that?
For me, I've always just found that building yourself and your company as an authority is always the best way to try and get people over. Like, I'm not a big push you to sell or push you to buy something. That's just not me. Even when I was selling door to door pest control, that is not how I operate. And sometimes people would tell me, like, oh, no, we got a company. It's like, oh, awesome. Like, who are you using? Well, we're using this. And if it was a good company, I'd say, awesome. Honestly, you're in great hands. I hear a lot of people say that they love that company. I've never heard a bad thing about them. If you do ever decide that you want to check out what we have to offer, here's my card. And just
Nice.
that little, like, yeah, you're with a great company, left an impression with them where later down the road, sometimes I would get people that would call me back. And so I've never really been big on if someone is already using something and they're not actively seeking it or searching for it, I'm not going to try and sell them. They're not my customer. I want the people that are looking for what I
Right.
have.
The previous
And
stage. Yeah.
exactly. So I've just always found it easiest to sell. And again, I'm going back to Facebook groups, but you can do the same thing through cold email. It's just if you do a lot of it, you'll eventually find the people that are actively seeking. They just didn't know about you. So there's plenty of avenues and methods to do it. I've just found Facebook's a really good one because you're in the group with them and
Yeah.
in the community, and you can do it in a way where you're giving value versus like if you're doing email, you're
Yeah.
just sending them a straight like, hey, this is what we do. I noticed this about your company, but you can still make your email very personable if you take some time to like actually look at the business and see what they're about. And you can still make it very personal, but I've just found that like the Facebook group, because that person's already asking that question, where cold email, you're going to have to do a lot more of it because you just don't know. You
Right.
haven't had an interaction. But yeah, just go through the numbers. It's a numbers game.
Right. And with Facebook, I love Facebook also. I built my entire business on Facebook groups.
Yep,
And people have the chance to stalk you also. They will go onto your
exactly.
profile and you can put whatever you want, what resonates with the audience,
Yep,
right? What builds
yep,
that connection. A cold email is a bit harder to do that.
yep.
And it's like, yeah, as you said, like obviously your copy is on spot on point and but still Facebook is I would highly recommend that as well. I did not know you can scrape data from Facebook. I thought that's blocked on all avenues now.
Not with what we have built.
So you have some secret tool there. I'll ask you about secret tools on the end of the podcast as well, so you can
Yeah.
pitch maybe.
Well, yeah, no, I mean, yeah, I don't, I'll share it with you if you want to share it with the audience. Feel free. It's just so we have a software development company, App Stackers. So we have developers on staff, and like a lot of times we'll just build tools. We're like, man, we're having this problem in our company. All right, we just built a software, a small little tool or Chrome extension to solve that problem. And they're like, oh, wait, other people are having the same problem. Well, we already have the tool, so here, we'll just sell it, I guess.
Very nice. Yeah. Typical example of find a problem, provide a solution.
Yep.
Amazing. What's the one thing you recommend or you do to keep churn low? Churn is a real pain in the butt for everyone.
Yeah.
Everyone feels not good when a customer cancels, obviously. So what do you
Yeah.
do to keep the churn low?
For us, at least what I have noticed is that that initial onboarding experience is always been a big factor.
Yes.
Even if you're not doing like an in-person physical onboarding, just the experience that they go through. Like we have softwares where we never actually talk to the customer in terms of they just buy the product, but it's the experience that they go through of like, okay, they purchase, they go to a thank you page. The thank you page has a video welcoming them, explaining, hey, here's what's going to happen next. You're going to
Yep.
get X, Y, Z. And then we always say like, if you don't see this, please reach out to us here. And then they get the email, and the email then has, all right, here's what's going to happen next. Here's what you need to do next. And so like what I have seen is just that experience that you provide in the process from when they buy to them getting started, and then also just making sure that they are getting started, because sometimes people buy and then they're like, oh, I'm busy, and then they forget about it. You know, you want people to get going as fast as they can, and using whatever it is. Like if software, you want to make sure that they're using the platform as fast as possible.
Right.
And depending on what you're selling, like with the software, if it's high ticket software, is going to be a lot different than low tickets. So it there's so many variables there, but the experience I've found that people have from starting with you to getting going, that really helps reduce churn rate if they have a really positive experience. And then just your support too. If
Hmm.
your support's good too, and you respond quickly and you're helpful and you make sure you solve their problems quick, that has always been a really good note that I have seen, or just something I have noticed too that has helped reduce churn. So
100%. Do you currently outsource your support to third party or do you have in-house support staff? How do you handle that?
yeah, we're all in house now. What we eventually realized is that outsourcing the support, especially if you have something that is like very specific to an industry that you built, most companies that you're outsourcing to, they're they might know how to use high level, but they don't necessarily know the way your company operates. And it's very hard to get them to come in and do that because they're typically supporting multiple other companies. They're not full time in your business all
Right.
day, every day. And so we're 100% in-house staff on everything because they have to be trained on what it is we built within high level that we're actually selling,
Yep.
and how it runs, how it operates, how it works. So,
Right. I agree 100%. I would not recommend outsourcing that and always keep it in
yeah,
house. The quality answers you will send to your customers, the quality matters so much. And the more they have to ask back, your customer, like
right.
more emails back and forth, don't do it. Like, you know yourself exactly how painful it can be if you're frustrated with some software, any software really, and you reach out to tech
Yeah.
support and some guys like not even understanding the question and like, you've already dug through all the SOPs and help
Yep.
docs, and you just really need somebody who knows what you're talking about. And well,
Yep.
maybe in the future, we also have like AI implemented, like an AI bot and stuff, which obviously gets trained after each question and so on. But hopefully that will do the job. I mean, that eventually that will be amazing because you can really train that AI bot specifically on your company.
Right.
Right? Are you
Yep.
using any of that, like AI
Oh
bots?
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. We use a lot of AI. So we actually, because we have a development company, OpenAI has been around for 4 or 5 years now, but
Mhm.
it wasn't available to the public. You actually had to be a developer, and we had applied to be one of the original early access developers, and so we've had access to OpenAI for quite a while. So we've been playing with AI for a long time before it became public. So,
So you also have seen that baby grow.
yep, yep, we have.
Awesome. What would you say is the most common reason why people cancel their subscription? And once they're at that point that they say, I want to cancel, how do you prevent them from going?
I would say it's been interesting because it's been different in different industries. Some industries it's just because they're going out of business,
Yep.
or it might have been like a hobby
Yep.
type
Yep.
deal for them, and so they weren't necessarily like full on growing a company. It was more of a side hustle type thing. Other industries I've seen it's because someone made them a different offer, or maybe they were struggling financially, so they decided to take this other offer because it was a lower price. Like I've seen that happen before, but most of the time, like we always ask why. Like, hey, is there something that was missing? Is there something that we could have done better? Like we always ask a question of like, what's the reason why they're canceling? We never, or we don't really like care in the sense of like, hey, like you're not going and we're not going to cancel your subscription, like we're never like that, but we always like to know like, okay, like what's the actual reason? Is it because maybe they felt like they weren't getting the support they needed? Okay, well, all right, let's jump on a call. Like let's actually walk through this. What happened? Or maybe it's they felt like something was missing. Like I had a guy that was going to cancel on the trailer side simply because he thought that we couldn't customize the system.
Ah,
Right? And we're like, no, we can switch it because he was in a frustrated place. Like he had just started his company, so he's putting a lot of money into it, and he hadn't really made a bunch of sales or anything yet.
mm,
And he's like, well, this system's not doing everything that I needed to do, and so I think I'm going to go over to this system. Like, well, all right, well, talk to me. Like, what do you need it to do? And so eventually we just talked it through. We're like, all right, yeah, this is simple fixes. Let's make the changes, and this is how it works. Like, oh, okay. It's like I thought that it was just set in stone. So like I've seen a bunch of different reasons. I'd probably say more often than not, the reason, especially if you get them actually truly integrated into it, more often than not, usually it's because they're going out of business or shutting down the company, and it was like a side hustle type thing for them.
mm-hmm.
But again, that depends on the industry, right? Like pest control, it wasn't really that way.
Yep.
It was usually they were selling their business in that industry, like they were being acquired, because a lot of acquisitions take place in that industry. But it usually wasn't because they were shutting down. So yeah, I've just
Interesting.
always ask though. Ask.
Yeah. Yeah, oh yeah, for sure. Get that feedback in. And most of the time, I can actually save the sale because, like you said,
Yeah.
most of the time people are just not aware high level can do the thing. It can actually, like, they don't know. They want to achieve
Yep.
something. Maybe they don't know the capability exists or they just don't know how to do it. And then
Right.
if you have the time, just set it up real quick for them or just send them a help doc which shows them how to do it. And they're like, oh, amazing, didn't know that.
Yep.
Like, most of these problems are solvable. Unless obviously
100%.
it's no business, then yeah, you can't. Like that's another very common misconception in my industry. I'm in the course coaching industry as well, and people often think like a system or a software will save the business. Like,
No.
no, if you don't have traffic, if you don't have an offer that
Yep.
converts, if your price point is not like, no, I'm not magically saving your business if none of these things are in place. So that
Right.
is very
Yep.
important to understand as well, to like know how you sell it, because otherwise you're just onboarding, you're spending so much time and money to acquire the customer so that they leave in the end anyway because they don't have these things in place. So maybe just don't
Right.
focus on people who don't have that in place. It's easier, right?
Yeah. Yep. Yep.
So let's talk about you running 40 plus companies. Like most entrepreneurs out there, they struggle to scale one business.
hmm
What is your secret to staying sane and making sharp decisions?
Well, again, it really is systems and processes, and every business, every business has four pillars. Like you have your support pillar, your sales, your marketing, and then your product. And I know some people probably break it down into more, and there's definitely like subcategories, but we have our own little like business startup or business launch cheat sheet of like, all right, here's the foundational pieces that have to be a part of the business. It's really just systems, people, processes, and if we're going into an industry that we don't know, we either find someone that we can partner with that has been in that industry for a long time, or we find someone that we can hire that again that has been in that industry, that has been a high up in that industry. Like sometimes maybe working for a big company, and they were high up in that company, and we see if we can't bring them over to us and have them go grow a business with us, right? So A lot of times we do need to have someone who is the subject matter expert that understands that, because it speeds up our process of learning that industry and really finding and solving the problems. But if it's a new industry where we're just like, all right, let's just go try it ourselves and we'll figure it out along the way. Like we've done that too. So, but yeah, it's people, systems, automations,
Hmm.
and then again, we just kind of have a cheat sheet of like business is pretty much the same no matter what you do. You got to have sales, you got to have something to sell, you got to have support, and you got to have some kind of marketing. And you just kind of figure it out. But if you've never learned how to implement systems or use automation or make sales or do marketing, you have to figure that out for your first business. And then you build one company, you get yourself out of it to where it runs by itself without you having to be in the day to day or being involved.
Right.
And then you can go do another one and then another one. And then eventually you can build a team that helps you go do the process of starting new companies, buying companies, partnering with companies. And so
Right.
that's just kind of how my progression has gone.
Nice. Very cool. And looking at the decision side of things, like when it gets too much, when there's like too many things to decide, maybe you're suffering from decision fatigue. Like, how do you handle this? Like, how do you step back and think, whoa, give me a minute so that I do not make that wrong decision? Because the quality of your decisions matters so much. Like, is there any, like, you're obviously, you're in the 5 a.m. club from the other side. So,
Yeah, probably.
it is like at the moment is what, 2 a.m. now, maybe at your end?
Yeah, a little over 2 a.m. So I'm usually going to bed when most people are getting up, but it's
Yes.
good. It works. It works for me.
Right. So do you do anything specific to stay focused then to sit down to go, I don't know, maybe in nature? Do you drink specific supplements in the morning to stay sharp? Like what do you do there?
Sometimes, I mean, I run a lot of my companies from home, so I'm at home a lot. I mean, for me, a lot of times it's just I don't necessarily need a lot, but like sometimes when there's a lot of stuff going down, sometimes I need to step out and like at night before bed or something, and I'll go have a cigar. And
Okay.
sometimes for me that's what I do. Other times it's just going for a walk. My wife and I, we love to go for scooter rides at night. So we have like little Segway scooters that we'll go ride around.
Nice.
But sometimes just getting out of the house, just away from the computer, quick walk or something, it can be a really good reset for me. I don't do like morning meditations or anything like that. I know some people are like, oh, you got to meditate. It's just not me. Like I wake up, I have the things I do. I feed my dogs. I'll make some breakfast for a little bit, sit in the rocking chair, just kind of stare out the back window
Nice.
because we have the farmstead back behind our house, and so
Oh,
like I'll just
cute.
kind of stare outside for a little bit and just kind of let myself wake up while I'm eating, and then I usually just get to it because I my days are always planned out the night before. I'm getting better about planning my weeks and months in advance. Like there are certain things obviously I had planned in advance, but I'm working on getting more dialed in that aspect of it. But I know every day when I wake up exactly what I need to do and
So
what has to
important.
get done. So
Right.
it that alone reduces a lot of decision fatigue, and it reduces a lot of procrastination, because a lot of times procrastination comes from just, well, what should I do, or I don't know how to do this, so how can I do this? Well, my day's already planned out, and I know that if there's something in my schedule that I don't know I know I have time blocked out. Like I'm gonna have to figure that out. I don't know how to do it, but I got time set aside to figure it out, and that's my time to try and do it. And if I don't, then it's going back on my schedule for the next day if need be. So like there's always ebbs and flows and adjustments that have to be made with the schedule too. But as long as you go into the day knowing what needs to be done, it makes your day a lot easier in my opinion, I guess.
Very good. Yeah, 100%. If you plan your
So,
day the day before, like it just goes into your subconscious mind overnight anyway. You wake up, you
yep.
have a game plan. And then after you did your things, then you're allowed to be confused, but not
Yep.
before, right? Yeah.
Yep.
So your key is to just take off the mind of certain things, go into nature, hang out with your wifey, and just talk about other stuff, play with your dogs. Just don't think about it 24/7, right?
Yeah. For me, sometimes it's just stepping away, or even sometimes like I just have to step away from working on that thing and do something that for me is fun. Um, Sometimes it could be playing a video game, but sometimes too, like right now, we're transitioning everything over to N8N from Zapier. We're moving away from Zapier to N8N, and like I love automation stuff like that. Even though I try to keep myself out of doing it, I love learning that type of stuff. And so like for me, that's a really good break for me to like step away from other stuff and just go have fun playing with like, well, what can we automate? How can I make my life easier with something new that I don't know? So like for me, learning something that like I really enjoy doing. So that's a good thing that I've also found that like I can step away from something, go learn something that I'm interested in and have fun doing. And that's also like a good reset for me too. So
Nice. Yeah, the more you learn, the more you earn as well.
yeah, yeah, that helps.
I think that also helps for sure with making better decisions. Like the more you know about certain topics, the better you can also maybe hire. You know exactly
Yeah,
what they tell you in the interview, you know, where to go and is that true, is that not? What's the level of skills and knowledge? So
yeah,
growth is very important.
yeah. And decision wise too, like I, from my experience, it's just make decisions, make a decision, make it quick,
Right.
and you'll find out really fast if it was the wrong decision, and you'll learn from it. And
Exactly.
then the more decisions I've found that you can make, and the faster you can make decisions, the quicker you learn, the quicker you fail, the faster you get knocked down and go through the bumps and bruises and figure things out.
Right. And you had then to learn the bumps and bruises in order to get to the next thing. So
Yep.
any decision is kind of like, you know, the right one. Like there is no wrong thing. Like if you say like if you took the wrong one, then you got to learn
Yeah.
it. You got to
Then you
learn this,
learn.
then you know better. Amazing.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
What would you do differently now that you've scaled to 400 plus accounts? Like if you had to start from scratch again, anything you would do differently, or you'd say like, nope, I would do exactly the same thing. Anything along the journey you've learned, what you would say, hey, I could have done that much more efficiently and much more effectively.
Yeah. Well, I mean, for us, we're doing it right now with these new ones that we started. And of course, my time isn't like 100% dedicated to it, but if I had lost everything, I would focus on picking one industry, something that I know, have enough experience in, and that way I can speak their language. And then I would go find all of the Facebook groups possible in that industry, whether it's training groups, help groups, anything and everything. And I would spend my entire day in those Facebook groups reading posts and comments and seeing what are people struggling with, what is going on, how could I solve this problem? And then I'd find whatever is the most talked about problem, figure out how I can use GHL to solve it. And then I would go to every single one of those. So what you do is then you make a spreadsheet and you highlight, leave a link back to all those posts. Once you have the solution, then you go back and then you comment on every single person's post and start getting yourself seen in all the comments and share value. Like again, we did that with we did that with the trailer rentals like 3-ish months ago, maybe 4 months ago now.
Mhm.
And I maybe spend less than an hour a day doing anything with it, and we have over 40 customers. And so it's not like I spend a lot of like if I spent all my time on it, like if I was really going and I would just focus on the Facebook groups, just get in the groups because there are some art like photography, hundreds of Facebook groups,
Yeah.
pest control, tons of Facebook groups. Like
Yeah.
a lot of these industries have a lot of Facebook groups that you can go join and be a part of and just start like if someone says, "Hey, I'm having a problem with this," go research it, find how to solve it, make a YouTube video. Here's how to solve XYZ for your company and post it on YouTube and then go share that link. Like here's a help video,
Right.
right?
Amazing.
Because now that video is forever and people are gonna go search for stuff,
Yeah.
right? I still get people that are hitting me up 4 months later saying, "Hey, I saw in this group that you said you have this item or this resource available. Could I get that?" Yep, we actually uploaded everything in our free community on GHL. It's called this. If you go here, everything's free in there with a bunch of videos. And then also, too, it pushes everybody back to our software.
Awesome, amazing. So when you then do these videos for different industries, do you create a new YouTube channel for each industry or do you place them under your personal brand, all of them?
Nope. All under its own company.
Hmm. So different
Yep.
channels for different companies.
Yep.
Because SEO is important too, right? Like you can then rank for search and I mean if they do anyway, if they
Yeah.
would to that particular problem or Google even shows up on Google.
Yep.
Hmm. Nice. Okay, cool. What's the one decision that has had the biggest impact on your success?
Just saying yes to opportunities, not being afraid. Yeah. Just saying yes and not being afraid of the risk. I'd probably say has been the biggest thing for me. The first company I started, the pest control, I moved down to Kansas, which was 4.5 hours away from all my family. And I lived in a shop on a couch for whatever, 14, 16 months, something like that. So, like, just not being afraid to go do something that's out of the ordinary or that maybe seems weird or odd or might seem risky. And then, same thing here, like, my current business partner that I do all my companies with now, when I met him, we got to know each other. I was like, man, I want to learn from you. And so we partnered, we started working together. He's like, look, if you move down here, I'll work with you closer, I'll teach you more. And so 3 months later, I was like, hey, we're packing up, we're gonna move to Texas. So now we're a lot farther away from our family, but just not being afraid to take risks and being willing to do something that might seem crazy to most and learn along the way.
Right, amazing. You have been in business since 10 years, is it correct?
Yeah, I started my first business when I was 18. I was a senior in high school, and so I guess technically it's probably been about, well, let's see, yeah, 12, 14 years. I've been doing some kind of business.
Mm.
But yeah, I started my first one in 18, and that was doing tennis lessons. So,
Oh, cool.
yep, yep.
And were you chasing freedom? What was the thing that you were chasing when you thought, oh, I want to be my own boss?
Yeah, I hated working for people, and I learned that working for my dad. I've never been good with having to be somewhere when somebody tells me. I've never enjoyed that. I've never liked it. I have no problem with respecting people. And like, if someone did hire me to do a job, like, I'm going to do it phenomenally and to the best of my ability. But yeah, I wanted the freedom. I wanted time. I wanted to be able to make money and take care of my family. And you don't do that when you're working for somebody else.
100%, yeah. And looking back now, 12 years in, you've achieved so many things. And is it the same freedom you were chasing 10 years ago? Or you say it's
Oh
different?
no, it's changed. It
How
changes at
so?
each stage, yeah. Because like when I started, I just want to make $100,000 a year.
Yeah,
I just want my first $10,000 month.
right.
And I was like, oh wow, I made $10,000. This isn't that much money. And then,
Exactly.
so yeah, it's grown. It's definitely changed at every stage. Yeah,
And this never ending, oh, I want 10K. Now I have it. Well, actually, 100K sounds better. Now I have it. Well,
yeah.
actually, seven figures sounds better. Now I have it. Like, why is that? Why do you think we act like this? Why do you think we want it? We behave like this? And will it ever stop? Is there any level you hit maybe already, or maybe you know you will never hit the level where you're satisfied?
See, for me, it's transitioned to where it's not necessarily being not satisfied about what I have or don't have. It's
Okay.
turned into I just love to learn.
Yeah.
Like, I love learning new things. And I think that's where I get a lot of my excitement out of. And that's why I like going into different industries that I've never been a part of because I get to learn something new. And so I think more so for me, it's transition now where it's about the excitement of learning something new and just the excitement of growing and not because I've had lapses where I just kind of was stale and like I wasn't like I was doing just kind of the same thing, like we were doing well, but it's the same thing over and over. And I got bored really quickly.
Hmm.
And so, yeah, for me now, I think it's more so it's it's just about the ongoing learning and continual growth, no matter whether it's in business or personal life or family. It's just that constant learning. I think for me at this point, it's that's where I get a lot of my excitement from now.
Very cool. Amazing. What would you say? How has your success impacted the people closest to you?
Well, it's allowed me to be able to help my family a lot, which my family is a big thing for me. I've also been able to do a lot of cool things for just people in general. It's not really stuff that like I care to talk about or like tell people about, but just being able to pay bills for someone that's struggling, like
Yeah.
stuff like that, being able to give back, being able to share the success in kind of hidden secret ways,
I love that.
so
Yeah.
like I get a lot of enjoyment out of that too. And yeah, and really more so just being able to help my family, like when my parents need something or my siblings need something or whatever, just being able to help. So
So good. Yeah. I think that giving back part is so true. It's like, somebody's struggling, and maybe you've been in that place before, so you know exactly
oh
how
yeah,
it
of
feels.
course. Yep.
And then the light in their eyes, you just, whatever, pay, whatever it is, dinner, bills, anything. They're like, oh,
Yep.
it's
Yep.
like, it means the world to some people. And for you, it's just like nothing. Not nothing, but I mean, obviously, you work hard for the
Yeah.
money and all that. But yeah,
Yep.
cool. Last question before we move on to our MRR minute.
Yeah.
Um, if you had to leave SaaS tomorrow, what is the one lesson you would want every SaaSpreneur to remember?
I would probably say that it would depend on the person that I'm talking to. But in general, if we're talking just about GHL SaaSpreneurs, don't overcomplicate it and just go do the work. Do the work to make it work. It's it's really not harder than that. You just have to put in the time, you have to put in the effort, and you can get to 100 sub accounts very easily. You can definitely do it within 12 months, 100%, or faster, depending on where you're at. But just do the work and don't be afraid of it.
Right.
Keep it simple.
Awesome. We want every single one of you out there to aim for the SaaSpreneur Award. Is that the 100? The SaaSpreneur?
Yeah,
Right.
yeah,
Start with that, and then you can scale to 500,000 and so on.
yeah, yep,
So you
yep.
collected the SaaSpreneur Award already?
Yeah, actually, I actually have it sitting right over here. I had used it to film one of my other videos earlier today, so yeah, it's actually sitting right over here.
Nice. How did you
I
feel when you got that one?
I was like, man, this is a shiny award. Yeah, I mean, I can grab it quick
Yeah,
if you want
grab
to
it real
see it.
quick.
It's
Show the
fine.
peeps. You have a gaming chair as well. Is there the gaming chair?
Yep,
That's
sure
cool.
is.
Oh, it's
So
big. It's huge. Look at
yeah, it's
that.
pretty big. We got this back in 2022. It's very shiny and reflective, as you can see.
Awesome.
It sits in a box 90% of the time. So, I mean, it was cool. It was cool. It was like, oh, sweet. But like again, we had been selling it as SaaS before SaaS was a thing, before they had
Yeah.
all the awards and stuff. And so it was kind of like they reached out. I was like, oh, hey, you guys won the SaaS award. We're like, oh, we did. Oh, all right, cool. Yeah, I guess send it over.
So cool.
So,
Congrats. Yeah, nice.
yeah.
Amazing. So now we're transitioning into our bonus segment. This is the MRR minute. I'm just going to ask you 5 quick questions, and
Okay.
I would like you to answer short in one sentence for each of those questions. Are you ready?
Okay. Yeah.
What's the smartest investment you've ever made? Time, money, or team?
Myself. So, team, me, best investment's always been in me.
What did you invest in yourself? What exactly was the product or mastermind, or what exactly was
Just
it?
education,
Yeah.
continual education.
Yeah. Awesome.
Yep.
Number 2, what's one client success story that always reminds you why you built your SaaS?
I think for me, with the trailer side, one of the newer ones we just started was just a reminder that, he was a brand new business just getting started. And me being in those shoes at one point and two, just knowing that I was able to share what I had learned when I was in his shoes to help him.
Mhm.
So being able to give back, I'd say that's one of the things that I think it's reminded me why I even just do business in general.
Yeah.
But having that conversation with someone who's just getting started, being able to share with them what I've learned because I had people do the same for me when I started.
Nice. Awesome.
So,
Always remember selling is serving, right? Like it's your
mm,
duty if you know something somebody doesn't know and you're able to help them, you got to share it. You got
yep.
to go out there. Awesome. What's the biggest lever for fast growth? Maybe pricing, niche, marketing, and why?
I mean, I would say your niche can definitely be a big part of that. I don't think price. Price definitely can play an effect, but I think price is more of a minimal thing. I would say it's your offer and the value that you give more than anything. And you can do that in any industry, and you can price it again depending on how much value and what your offer is and what you're bringing. Price really doesn't matter at that point. It's going to fluctuate. So it's really the value of what you're
Mhm.
bringing.
Awesome. What's one thing you stopped doing that instantly improved your SaaS?
I got out of the day to day.
Aha.
Yeah, just don't don't sweat the small stuff. Don't do the things that you can give to automation or somebody else to do.
Hmm. Good, good.
Yep.
Last question. If you could only track one metric in your SaaS, which one would it be?
I would say churn.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
nice one. Thank you very much. Would you like to
Yeah.
add something else we haven't talked about yet?
Uh, I don't know. I think this has been really good. I think you had a lot of great questions. So for me, I'm more so like if you have a question, I can go on and I can rattle stuff off from my experiences. But but yeah, I'm sure there's probably a lot of things that I didn't even think of, but it's just waiting for the right question to bring it out.
Yeah,
So yeah, for everyone listening, just like we've talked about it, just do the work. Don't be afraid.
just do it.
Yep.
Yep, amazing. Let's real quick talk about your Facebook tool as well.
Yeah. So it's called Group Scout. It's a Chrome extension, and basically all it does is it adds all your groups that you're a part of. You can then like segment your groups. So like you can create a folder to like just create organization, and then you create searches. So like let's say you wanted to search your photography groups or something like that, or a GHL group or whatever industry you serve. You put all your groups in the search, and then you put whatever keywords. So there's different ways to go about it. Like for example, on the SaaS side or agency side, we go into groups that are based around that, and we'll first start by just putting a question mark in the search so that it pulls all the questions, and then we take that data and we give that then to AI to then analyze what are the common frequently asked questions,
Mhm.
so then we can build resources around those questions. Then what we do is then we go back through the questions, and then so then what it does is it allows you to then right from within the system, you can read the post, and then you can comment on the post right from inside the system. And then it will send the post over to Facebook and leave it on the platform. So yeah, it just goes through the groups, finds the keyword that you put in, and pulls all the data out, puts it in a nice little sheet type deal on the platform, allows you to do the commenting and everything right from it, and then you have that data. So
Amazing. We will place that link in the description below. Go check it out. If people want to connect with you, they want to stalk you, they want to talk to you, how can they find you?
well, you can find me on Facebook. Facebook's probably the best place.
Right.
I'm on Facebook a lot just because I run a lot of our companies through there. So I'm not a big personal brand presence. I'm very much behind the scenes in a lot of my businesses, and that's because I tend to like my privacy. But I've been more active this year, so we'll see. Maybe I'll build the personal brand up. But yeah, Facebook is probably the best way.
Thank you very
Yeah.
much for your time. I appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely. It was a pleasure talking with you.
You have just heard how powerful High Level is for building and scaling SaaS. If you want to follow the same or a similar path, click the link in the description, sign up via my affiliate link, and get your free trial or upgrade your existing subscription. You will also get access to my personal resources to help you grow faster. I will see you on the other side.